welcome everyone to the final race of Xbox Series. Today, I'm joined with Manish, and
Hi.
we look forward to the hi Manish, and we look forward to the race. It's still a close battle in the constructors for between AlphaTauri and Racing Point. However, the first four positions in the driver standing is solidified, but there is still a lot of changes that can happen in this final race in the midfield. So, what thoughts do you have, Manish, before we jump into the gameplay?
Certainly, every race is important, no matter whoever is already won the championship, right? So it's a lot to play each and every race. Even the championship leaders, they won't be coming out of their pit box thinking, right? We've got this, let's have a easy race. They are also going to be trying for the win today. Also, nobody wants to go home without winning, right? So even though it's the last race, you're gonna have a lot to watch today because all of the drivers will be giving their 100%, I think, because it's probably the last race, and then you cannot have anything after that. So it's going to be fun, and I think we will be jumping into the quali right now. I think the drivers have also come out for their out laps, so we can get a view of what's going on. I think already, I think pretty much I think 4 to 5 drivers are out already.
And
Just going on to
it's
the grass.
cloudy weather at the moment. I
Yeah,
think
it's winters.
everyone's on inters, like you said. So yes, there's light rain.
Usually not a wet season right now in Abu Dhabi.
We're restarting, we are
But
restarting.
Yes, but Cody's logic, they are not checking weather data like Flight Simulator. So, as you
I
see
think
people going through the outlaps, and we see
I
basically
think Peaceful
2000.
is on. Okay, now we started it.
Okay, so I just got confirmation that it looks like we are restarting the lobby.
Oh,
It looks like people who got disqualified may have happened due to some other reason. So while we wait,
okay.
let's discuss the track layout. So
Right.
just for an overview, Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. It's been there in the calendar for over a decade now. Uh, to me, it's a very interesting track because it has one of the longest straights in the Formula One calendar. However, the Sector 3 is full of medium to high speed turns, and I personally think it's one of the trickiest, if not a bit tough to go through Sector 3, especially if you try to set your car for top speed in the first two sectors. How do you find this track?
Well, I think comparatively to the other circuits, uh, you can't say it's very interesting, but yes, it does have two long DRS straights, which makes three long straights, which makes a good chance for overtaking, especially into turn 11 and 12, where we got to watch in 2019, as well as in 2020, some amazing, brilliant overtakes into that corner. You need to be really, really careful because two cars going side by side into that corner, it's a really narrow place, so higher chances of collisions and someone being taken out. But diving into turn 11, you can obviously look for more moves, and even into turn 8 when we have the back straight, I think probably the longest straight of the entire circuit. And yeah, pretty cool place to make some overtakes also.
True. And I was very curious what would be the strategy of the drivers when I saw it could be a wet race potentially, because I remember this track being very tough on your tires. So especially
Yeah.
in wet conditions, it could just throw everything off the window for drivers who are not that much experienced in the lane.
Yeah, for sure. Especially there are the sector 3 part will be really challenging if it does stay wet throughout the race. Yes, it will be for sure. But given that they are all controllers, so it might be not as challenging as you can say, but it is for sure going to be really challenging for the drivers to maneuver around those corners and avoid spinning or losing the car or even trying to make moves into those turns are going to be really, really some super cautious moves from the drivers. Apart from that, the quali so far from the first one which we have, which is abruptly ended, was wet. So we still have to see how does the second quali start for our drivers. But so far, I hope that it's a dry race. I mean, for as a commentator, I want it to be a wet race. It's always interesting to commentate on wet race. Lots of things going on. But for if I was a driver, especially in this circuit, I would want a dry race.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Luckily, we also have a good attendance today because many drivers want to end this season on a high. So I still believe, regardless of the weather, we will get to see a lot of interesting action on the track.
Definitely.
I'll get back to the point on the driver standings. So,
Yeah.
as I had mentioned, the first four positions held by Ace Axe, HB58, Catty, and Stealthy 7 in that order. They have solidified their position as we come back to the stream. But then positions 5 to basically the end of the table, everybody has a chance of overtaking each other. But some of it could be down to just, you winning the race outright. So you cannot rule it out, but still, a lot of things can change if you're following the leaderboard. And also, the top two teams, AlphaTauri and Racing Point, they are only separated by 16 points at the moment. So, if Racing Point wants to win the Constructors' Championship, they would have to secure a place or two at the podium. Other than that, the rest are also back together, but the top two teams are having a much healthy gap, almost twice as many points as the other teams. So they can at least be sure they'll be either winning or be the first to lose.
Yeah, it's actually a game on for both of these teams. So I think the season, even though it has come to an end for the other drivers, but for the AlphaTauri and the Racing Point boys, it is not yet over. It's all to play for this race. Anything can go on, especially if it stays wet for the for the whole quali and the race. It's going to be pretty interesting to watch how these two teams, do they split the strategies and go for different fuel loads or different setups for the cars, or are they going to stick together and play the team game? A lot of things, because even the constructors, right? It's just 16 points, so I think both the teams must be, at least both the drivers of each team have to be playing the team game today, because I think it's moreover than more of the drivers championship with the constructors championship that can be achievable, because I think HB5 and ASAX, they have almost 27 points difference, so it's a long shot for HB58, but I mean, if he can, I mean, it's still impossible. He needs to get the fastest lap as well as the win, but still he'll be 1 point short if ASAX ends up below P10 or something like that. But I think it's more of the constructors' play today for these four drivers that they'll be looking into.
Yeah, definitely. And drivers are coming out in the final qualifying one session of the season. We do see the top two teams, both of their drivers are in this race. So it will be interesting to see how they end up.
Yeah.
I have only commentated and watched the race once before this season, and I did see that at least in the Racing Point side, both drivers were somewhat coordinating with each other. So I do still consider there will be some team play into the mix. And especially, like I had mentioned, this track is hard on your tires, no pun intended. So it is possible that these drivers may try to coordinate perhaps different strategies or just time their strategies together, because it is very crucial out here. Especially in the straights, we only have turns 8, 11, and 12, like you had mentioned, where you can really stick and overtake.
Yeah, for sure. All these four drivers are going to be on the BC today, coordinating every lap after lap, asking the times. especially the tires on this circuit, it's actually pretty hard. By the time you reach sector 3, you have already overheated few of your fronts, especially the front lefts and the front rights are not going to be in a good shape into sector 3. And if it does rain, so there has got to be a lot of tire management for these drivers. Surprisingly, there is a Ferrari, the Inters. I don't know if it's a glitch on my screen, but it's showing that he's on an outlap on the Inters. So, yep, there he
Yeah,
is.
it's in green
I
stripes.
think he has completely misread the situation, or he's praying to God that it rains at one point of
Perhaps
the
he's
time.
still in the mindset of the previous lobby, but
Yeah,
simply Whitey, I remember him to be good for time management, especially in poly. Uh, he was able to do a fast lap even with mediums in Mexico in poly too. But right now, I think this could be just a mistake from his end.
yeah.
And
He's not
as we
going to be doing
see,
any good with
Star
those
Max
tires
Lord
right
has
now.
retired. I think he may have crashed out, hence the yellow sector too.
Yeah,
I see a car parked, so that could be because of it. Hopefully, it does not impact anyone's hot lap. I don't think it will, actually. It's not like the
yeah.
IRL
It's
season.
not the game exactly has done that, programmed that. So even if there are yellow flags, the cars are still pinning it down. But
Yes.
yeah, I think it's a Ferrari might be heading back into the pits. I think it might be a mistake, moreover, than a choice selected by him. I think he accidentally selected those tires coming out of the pit. But yeah, for sure, he's not doing any good on those tires. Those tires might have already been skyrocketing the temperatures because Inters don't work well on a dry track. You can see already he's struggling. I think he made space for an approaching car. But yeah, we already do have times up. The Racing Point of Stealthy Sunny has already put it on P1, and we have a Red Bull followed by the AlphaTauri followed by HP58 in the Racing Point. So Racing Point already looking like they want this more than AlphaTauri so far, but we still do have 12 minutes, 13 minutes. So is all to play for. I think the track position here does matter also, as we don't have comparatively we do have three straights, but especially the start finish straight doesn't do much help to the DRS also. So we've got to see what the drivers will be putting in. There's so far the fastest time is a 135.284. So and the gap after that is at least of 2 tenths. So we've got to see what content in Mink also has in time for us, because he is also really quick in the AlphaTauri.
Definitely. Uh, just a reminder to everyone in Q1, the top 15 drivers, regardless of but how big the lobby is, goes through. So at this point, even if you crash out, you get to go to Q2. So
Yeah,
right now, it's a matter of just honing in your setup, getting it ready, depending on the race weather conditions. Then say show who's got the fastest lap. But definitely, one can choose to do that just to assert dominance. But it is
if I
interesting to
was one
see
of these
what
drivers,
times we get posted for this session.
yeah, sorry for interrupting, but if I was one of these drivers, I would just, go easy on my in lap, because it doesn't matter anyways. 15 of guys, 15 of them are anyways going to qualify, and with Star Max Lord already out, I think you should preserve their softs for the next qualifiers. Just
Of
put in a
course,
time. I mean, just a normal time. Even it doesn't matter. Even if it's going to be 4 or 5 minutes, you're still going to be above him and make it to P15.
definitely. While we were discussing this, Rahul has DNF'd. So again, it's not a race-breaking incident, but I guess
Oh,
he has pushed just a bit more than what his car could handle. So that's definitely something he would have to look. As we saw some drama in the pit lane,
in the pit lane, yeah, I did see that with the Red Bull and the win.
definitely people are eager to set times right now, which is very interesting. I've always found the full qualifying sessions in this league compared to all our other leagues for F1 very
Yeah,
interesting, because we just believe in quick quality session, and meanwhile we get to see a whole strategy play out here.
Yeah. And with Rahul DNFing already, getting disqualified, it doesn't look good for AlphaTauri because he'll be now starting at least 15th on the grid. So, but but can he make back in the next session?
Actually, so the way full qualifying works, you just have to qualify between sessions, and then it's clean slate.
Okay, so
Your
that means he's
times
gonna
will
make it.
carry
He's gonna make
over.
it. Yeah, he's
You
gonna make
just
it.
have to give your best in each sessions just to make through the cut. But then, of course, in Q3, that's where you give your best, and that's where your positioning matters. And crucially, in Q2, you have to, if you're in the top 10, you have to make sure that you conserve your tires, because the tires you use for the best lap will be what you will start in the race. And given
Agree.
how this track is very hard on your tires, you will have to make sure that you start with the tires in as close to mint as possible.
Yeah, I think the drivers must take this session as an FP3 session. Probably try out all different types of setups and all the strategies and all the fuel loads you can, because this session is not going to be that pressurizing as compared to the next ones, because there's going to be straight 15 drivers coming out from this session. And I think we have few more additions because now we have a total driver count of 17 drivers. So yeah, I mean, I know it's still there are two guys who are going to be left out, but I don't think you should be completely pinning down and going to one strategy for the entire quali. I think you should really try different setups, different fuel loads, different tires if you want to. Probably preserve those tires also for the next session, and prepare for the final one, because that's what's going to matter in the end of the day, for especially for the AlphaTauri and for the Racing Point boys, because apart from the rest, they too are having a completely different competition going up ahead for the constructors. And a matter of fact, for the other drivers, it's just going to be bragging rights at the end of the day, who finishes where on the championship standings.
I was going to mention that Rahul may be sweating because there was a chance that he could be knocked out of Q1. But as we spoke, we have three more drivers who have DNF, two of which had a slower time. So it is guaranteed for the AlphaTauri drivers to make it through Q2. So at least that's a relief. But
Yeah.
I think most of the drivers are happy with their times. And I think they may be aware that already we have two drivers who did not set a lap time. They have DNF. The Haas of Gakar being the unlucky one more recently. So it means that right now, if you're happy with your setup, you would most likely just sit in a pit, just think about
Yeah.
how to, what to carry through in the next session and race.
Yeah, I mean, if the boys can put a 135.5 and beyond, then I think Rahul will be kind of tense, and the AlphaTauri will not be very happy with that. But it doesn't look like that. I don't think anyone is matching the 135 as much as only three drivers as of now. We have got Frankenstein just short of the 135s, but I think Rahul is good for now. For the next qualifying, at least he's going to be there for the AlphaTauri, because they need to be on their top game today if they want to secure the constructors, because Racing Point is going to give everything they have today. With the strategies, I think probably they're going to go aggressive also in the driving style, because it's all or nothing for them. I mean, they're not going to slip down to P3 in the constructors. So the AlphaTauri boys need to watch out for them. I think they will be the one who will be more under pressure to defend it, because it's all or nothing for the Racing Point boys.
Yeah, definitely. In that sense, I mean, you can think of the current battle as if both teams were starting in the same position. It's like AlphaTauri has a third driver who is getting third position. So you can still get third in the race, but that third driver, like the virtual one, already has those points. So now it's a matter
Yeah.
of basically you have to try to achieve the top two positions in case the AlphaTauri gets the podium, or you need to make sure you get at least one of the high positions in case the AlphaTauri has a bad race overall and they don't get much points. So there are many scenarios you can play in your head, but definitely, I mean, it's their championship to lose, in my opinion. And I think Racing Point will be very motivated to just give it the best. As we see the top two Q1 times, right before I said it, was from Racing Point drivers, as Cathy has set the second fastest lap at the moment. We already have timings inside the 134s, and I'm expecting in Q3 they will push that gap even further, rather bridge it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think Ace Axe will be probably more in pressure today because he has to defend. I mean, I don't think he has to defend much of his constructor for his driver's championship because I think he has just won it, even if he doesn't get a point today. And if HP58 does get 26 points, including the fastest lap and the win, he's still going to edge it out by just a point. But yeah, I think he will be the one who will be taking charge today for the AlphaTauri guys. Defend it right up front. Um, but yes, if I was HB58, for me, a win today will just, even though I'm not going to win the championship, but it'll be a sweet way for me to go home. And if I also do take the constructors away from the AlphaTauri ones.
So this fact that many a times the top few positions are already decided before the last race.
Yeah.
This track, as we see Frankenstein lose it, this track has always had this other mental dynamic to it, where people are ending the season, and you've always had cases where some drivers they just want to end on a high, but then you still have like just that final race where you have to race till the end to potentially grab a better result than your competition. So it is still the case for drivers from fifth and below, but again, I'm sure they all would like to get the best results possible, as you have mentioned. So we are in the final 3 minutes of the qualifying session. We still have drivers who are yet to set a lap, a valid lap. So let's see what kinds of lap times we see towards the end.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of disqualifications already. I think we have around eight disqualifications already out of the 17 we've got. So I haven't seen any laps yet from the Ferrari at the bottom and AJ Sam, but I do think he is on a hot lap right now. Yes, he is on a, and I think he just needs to put a good enough time, not invalidate his lap, and probably push himself into Q2. But if he does, if in Q2 also, it's going to be a long shot, but I still think he can give it his everything and make it into Q1. Ferrari boys haven't had a good season so far, but yeah, it's all for them to play. They do have 139 points on the board. They can still clinch the spot of. I don't think they can clinch the spot of the Mercedes, but it is still achievable for the Mercedes boys to have a really bad race and for Ferrari to jump at least 2 positions up, beating Alpha and the Mercedes guys. So
That would require a 1-2 finish though, which
yeah,
whether IRL or in this league, it is something to look out for. But then simply shows us that he is at least capable of doing his part of the job as he sets 135.1, which is still a commendable lap time.
Yes.
We are in the final minute of the session. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I think if it does rain in the race and we have a similar qualifier in Q3, so turn one is going to be pretty interesting. I am expecting a turn one safety car for sure if it does rain. But even if it doesn't rain, also turn one at Yas Marina is pretty chaotic. You know, it's almost a 90-degree bend, so it's going to be a lot of cars punching up in turn one. So You can see which
Absolutely.
driver wants it more today.
And we have a lot of late braking sections, so there is always case where someone can misjudge the braking, and that can also lead to some interesting incidents. If my memory
Yeah.
serves me well, last season we've had a lot of incidents, many DNFs across the tiers, at least on PC. However, we did not have that many safety cars, if I recall correctly. And I think it may have to do with the relatively large runoff areas that we have in this track. But it is still interesting what will happen in the race. As the
Yeah,
timer has run out, and
sorry.
there is still a couple drivers, including AJ, who are completing their lap times. As he crosses the line, he sets a respectable 136.8, but still a lot to be done. AJ has been the streamer behind the scenes, which is Relativity Today, uh, who has been making this stream possible for us and you viewers. So it's commendable that there are drivers in the Xbox League who are willing to step up and miss the race weekend just to make it available to us. So again, as the season ends, big thanks, big props to him and for today, Relativity, for making this stream possible.
Yeah, congratulations to the Ferrari boys. They somehow did manage in their way into Q2, and yeah, it'll be fun to watch how both of these drivers coordinate between themselves because they do have a vast pace difference, I think. But you never know. They might be running different setups. They might be running different kind of strategies or different fuel loads. Or if they took this session just for trying different setups, so you never know what's there for us in Q2. But so far, this is the standing as of Q1. We have HB58 with P1, Catty with P2, Simply with P3, Stealthy Sunny with P4, and Red Skull with the P5. That's our top five. Um, Close by timings, not separated by much, the top three, but from there down, it looks like at least 2/10 of a gap between each other. And from P9 onwards, from P8, it's almost a second. So I suppose the drivers might be testing up setups for this session. So we can get to watch a lot for us in Q2 because we'll be having only 10 drivers for Q3. So the bottom five will be relegated out of the qualifiers.
I believe this is now you will see the most pushing happening, even though people have to maintain their tires because uh, it's a very interesting conundrum, especially for the midfield, because if you are towards the bottom five positions, you would like to start ideally in the 11th and 12th position to get that free tire choice, plus start in a relatively okay position. But the top drivers, I think, especially the fast ones, from the likes of Racing Point and AlphaTauri, they'll probably end up starting with the tires they will use now, so they would like to conserve it as much as possible. So let's see what timings we get this session compared to the previous one. We see drivers out for out laps, and we are seeing soft tires interestingly still being used. Uh, in your case, Manish, what would you consider using for your race tires for the first day?
Well, to be honest, I don't know if the race is going to be wet or it's going to be a dry race. So, what I think the drivers are assuming is that the race might be a wet one. So, it's just all out you can go into Q2 because there's no need of using any specific tires for this session and using those for the race because if it does turn out to be wet, it's just all these tires are just going to the bin. Nothing else is going to happen. So, according to me, the drivers are uh, kind of assuming the situation that it might rain. But if you're looking for a dry race setup, I think you should go for a mediums because there's going to be a lot of carnage into turn one. And if you aren't a part of that, then you can easily be jumping up few places and then you'll be looking longer towards the towards the center half of the race, you'll be having more better tires than the soft runners who are out right now. But I think what the Racing Point boys want is just pace. I mean, they were going for it into lap one, into turn one from the first lap. They want to put their car already into P1 and P2. So I think they will be going for the soft and but it will be interesting to see if the second Racing Point does come out on the medium. So they're going to be covered for the pit stops, and once the one of them went to the pit, the other one takes charge. But you never know what the drivers are thinking, what kind of strategies they're planning today, because for a few drivers it's all or nothing today, and for the rest it's just going to be a matter of bragging position at the end of the race.
Yeah, so unlike in PCF1 League where we have the telemetry designed by our team in IRC of developers, we cannot see the race weather ourselves as commentators, but the drivers can see what the race session would be in much more precision. So I'm assuming that if the front runners are using softs, it's likely that the weather may be a bit on the wet side, at least in the first half. That would probably explain the tire choice, but like you said, perhaps they want the absolute speed, just to create a gap in the beginning. And I have noticed that in the race itself, we sometimes have a lot of gap created and safety cars can happen. So it may still pay off to go with the softer tires. So yeah, these two could be the factors that could be because of this. As we see a Ferrari trying to give way to the Racing Point, but just get smashed to the wall. Luckily, at least it's before the pit. I think it's Rada on the outlap, so he may be pissed about it, but it does not matter too much for the Racing Point as he has set the fastest lap. He is already in the 134s, which was comparable to the Q1 time, so they are not leaving no quarters in this session.
Yeah, well, I think Raghav did the best thing he could do because he was on the racing line, and the Racing Point was on the hot lap and he had nothing to do. I mean, if he went to the left, it would have been a distraction for the driver. So I think he did what he could do best to get out of the racing line. Did end up hitting the wall. I don't know if it has done much damage to his front wing.
Doesn't appear so, yeah.
Yeah, because he's all of his end plate and all of the front wing looks intact. So that's some luck he's got right there. He continue his outlap, but yeah, I think he has already validated this lap. So let's see what the other drivers have been putting. We have Rahul who has put a 135.8, still way behind, at least by a second to HP58. But yeah, we've got to see what the drivers are going to put today. And I think 134 is a very good time from HP5. I think that should easily take him into Q3. I think if I was HB5 right now, I would just prepare myself for Q3, run a set of softs and just spin it every single lap, or you can do race prep, race simulation on the mediums. But yeah, I think this time should be pretty good enough for him to make it into Q3.
Yeah, I agree. As we noticed, the Williams boys are running medium, and Kathy has done good enough with a competitive time of 135.3. For everyone who's in the low 135s and up, I'd expect them to just hang in the pits for a bit, conserve their tires, and see if they are really engaged. Again, it could be a tussle between, just trying to prove that you are faster in every session, or it could be, preserving your tires for the race. So it will be interesting to see if these guys go out again, despite setting good enough laps for this session.
Yeah. So we have got at least 3 separate battles going on. So the top 2 fighting for 1 and 2, and the Red Bull and the Williams fighting for 3 and 4. So we've got at least these 2 battles for the top 4. And then we have got another battle, which is between the Mercedes, the Alphas, and the Ferrari. So this is going to be another battle to watch out between these three teams for the constructors. And I think in the bottom, probably it's another battle. But yeah, I think these drivers will not be going for the constructors. They will be rather going in for the race positions at the end up. I don't think there are going to be any team orders between those three teams in the bottom three. But yes, Williams and Red Bull, they also are having a duel today because they are just separated by 23 points, as I can see. So it's game on for these two teams also. So they need to put some really good solid lap times and be there along with the front two constructors if they want to stand any chance of getting the third spot. And we do also have Cathy, who is putting in a really good lap time with the mediums as well as Triple R Cool. So yeah, some good stuff going on from the Williams boys. The Red Bulls haven't put out a lap yet, so we're yet to find what pace do they have or what kind of strategies they're going on. Because the Williams, they are looking for a medium strategy. So I do doubt that. I think what the Racing Points are doing is they have split strategies because we have Stealthy Sunny who has gone out on the mediums, put in a lap, and HB58 on the softs. So yeah, I think they're going to go vary out the strategies as I had told before. So it's actually what they could do best because they will know at the start of the race, which tires are going to last longer. Obviously, the mediums will be doing a better job towards the first half of the race, as the softs will do wear out at a certain point of time because there's a lot of corners, especially in sector 3, is where you will be, kind of heating up your tires the most, which will in turn bring down your tire life. So what Racing Point needs to do is to be at least in the top four, both the cars, one with the softs and one with the mediums, so so they can cover each other up in the pit stops.
Definitely. As we can now see the tire choices made by different teams, we can at least rule out the possibility of a wet first half.
Yeah.
While we were thinking it was a minority case, it looks like just like we expected, majority of the drivers are on the mediums, and to see them still set times in the 135s, it looks good for the race pace also.
The
But it's
AlphaTauri
interesting to see why HB58 went for the subs. I expected him to go for the more optimal strategy, but I suppose he does still want to push it and try to
Yeah, I
get
think what he wants to do
yeah,
is just out of turn one, just have the lead and just extend the gap behind for him. I think that's what's on his mind. I think he wants to extend the gap as much as he can. Probably when the pit stop opportunity does come, he is hoping. I think what they'll be hoping is for Stealthy Sunny also to be in the top three when HB58 does make a pit stop because he is on the soft, whereas the rest are on the mediums. So yeah, I think that's what the strategy is they're going for. Unless it does rain and it just completely wrecks everyone's strategy for the race. But all even in mid race, there is a higher chance of rain also. So you never know what can pan out. But so far, strategies have been split at Racing Point. Both the AlphaTauri is going for the mediums, so they're probably on the same strategy for the race. And even it does look like the Red Bulls are also on a different strategy because we have Red Skull on the mediums and Incognito on soft. So two teams splitting the strategies as of now. Even the Williams also splitting the strategies for the mediums and soft. So I think it's only AlphaTauri who have gone for the mediums for both of the cars. But so far the teams who are battling have gone for the split strategy. So it's going to be pretty interesting to watch how does this pan out for the teams. I mean, if it does pan out for AlphaTauri, both on the mediums, it's going to be really amazing for them. But if they do end up on the losing side for the race, so they're going to be kicking themselves for sure.
Yeah, I still find like going softs in the beginning a bit risky because, like you mentioned, tire temperatures can be very high here because of the short, intense braking sections and medium to high speed corners. Especially when you have high fuel load in the first stint, it does activate on that. So running the softest compound for the first stint is still very risky in my opinion. Even if you create a gap in the beginning, in case there's a safety car, that should get rid of all that advantage. In case you have to pit early, you are also losing on track positions versus guys who are already on mediums. So again, as we
Yeah.
have just a couple minutes left, let's see, we have almost half the field who are yet to set a time, make it 4 drivers now. So let's see what times they set, because still there are there is one position everyone's fighting over. So let's see what they can score.
Yeah, I think what HB58 might be thinking is just a better start of the line and get clear of turn one and then just accelerate into the fresh air he has got because the cars behind him will obviously be following him and be getting a lot of dirty air. But yeah, I think what he's thinking is just turn one. Turn one has got to be absolutely spot on for HP58 because if he does get that wrong, that will completely wreck his whole race because he is already on the soft. And if someone does manage to nip him into turn one, I think probably what he'll be doing is if he has got some damage, will be going into the pits, put on the hards, and just hope those tires long last for the entire of the race.
And also you have the possibility of DRS trains being formed. And given we have two of the longest straights in the circuit in the calendar, um, definitely those who are receiving DRS would have an upper hand. So if you can just create a gap large enough so that you are the next driver is outside of the DRS range, then definitely that would be a big plus. With the better tires, with more grip, definitely the speed advantage will definitely help create a gap in the beginning. But then you just have to hope that there is no safety car. That's the only best scenario for HB58. But again,
Yeah, but I'm pretty
we
sure
are
there might
interested to
be.
see how these guys try different strategies and make it stick.
Yeah. So far we have got HB58. I think he has already left the session. I think he's pretty confident that he is going to be up there. So I know, I mean, the DRS isn't going to be activated at least for the first few laps. So what he's thinking is just to create a gap before the DRS is enabled. And then, the DRS train behind him will be battling amongst themselves while he can pull out ahead. And probably when he's at least 7 to 8 laps down, and then if a safety car comes, it's just going to be uh, a perfect strategy for him.
Yeah, as the timer for this session has also ended, we see that we have out of the top 10, we have 7 drivers who will start on the mediums, and Simply White is showing that he can set a competitive time with the mediums. As far as the bottom of the list, we still have a few drivers who are one driver of
Yeah, the Ferrari.
Seesaker, which actually finished without a valid time. So we have the grid basically laid out the way it's going to be. And towards the
I think he
end,
has
we
given up
see
on the start.
drivers on softs, which is interesting because they will be directly on attack from the back by drivers who will have much harder and fresher tires.
I think they're gonna have the free tire choice. The Ferrari and the Haas and both the Mercedes. So far the Mercedes are on the back foot if they want to defend that position on the constructors from the Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. But yeah, Ferrari is on P2 so far. So points, some big points coming up from him if he does manage to keep it like that into Q3. So yeah,
Definitely. We still see the gap between the Ferraris as Raghav has been knocked out from the session. And we see Williams stepping up, qualifying into Q3, unlike in real life. So they are giving their best shot at fighting Red Bull. So it's always good to see. Even the lap timings, despite having softs, Incognito, who is much higher on the driver championship, is able to still maintain a fair bit of gap from them. So it's always good to see.
Yeah, I think it was just mainly for the tires that they were going to take into Q3 into the race.
Yeah, so what race pace we may expect, we'll find soon enough in the next session. So take us through the timings for the second session.
So we have the racing point on the softs, just put a 134.899. Nobody has been able to best that, and the gap to P2 has been already zero, zero point 0.3 of a second from Simply YT, the Ferrari. A surprising result from him into Q2. I didn't expect the Ferrari to be that up there, but kudos to them for putting in a really good lap time on the mediums. So if we did have the softs, it would have been really good. And we do have Catty with the Williams in P3, Contented Mink with the AlphaTauri in P4, and Stealthy Sunny on P5 with the Racing Point. So yeah, so they're all on the mediums apart from HP58. So it's going to be an interesting race. So we have got to see what Q3 has in store for us.
Yeah, as the session has started. Interestingly, I see lap 1 out of 3. Is this a 3-lap race? Never mind. Cody's has corrected their mistake.
Yeah.
So we'll wait while the drivers go out for the initial bunker laps, perhaps. Now they get to push it to the max and try to secure the highest position they can on the track.
So we have the Racing Point of HP58 who's out of the pits. This session, what do you think? Who's going to be on the top of the leaderboards at the end of this session?
I mean, for race result, I've seen in the past, I think it's going to be for those who can stay consistent. I still don't have my favorites yet. Maybe this race can help me nudge towards that. But I think it will be the Racing Point and Williams who will be pushing way more. I think for AlphaTauri, I expect them to still give their best, but I did notice some incidents happening, some unfortunate events happening with them. So, yeah, but I can't say who will exactly be on the top for this race. Again, I think it will be much more pressure on the racing points. Even I remember for Mexico, one of their drivers forgot to put their setups on when the race restart happened. So their whole race was in the bin for one of the drivers.
That's extremely unfortunate for that.
So luckily, I'm not expecting that to happen now with Touchwood, but yeah, the pressure is definitely on for them. So I think I would see at least Williams, Red Bull, and Racing Point up there on the podium. And AlphaTauri can get on top again if they want to. But again, you can't predict what will happen on the race. This will be a crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be really entertained, you must be looking more into the Racing Point because they're the one that's going to be making moves today. AlphaTauri will be probably playing the defensive game, going for the safer strategy. Keep the cars in the points in the top five. I think that's what they need to do today. Just keep the cars in the healthy point region and probably get those important points they need to seal the constructors. But yeah, I think from the top two point of view, it's like that. For Williams, yes, they're also pretty much in the similar situation in which Racing Point are. So they will also be trying to send everything they've got, with the strategies. Uh, they have to maximize what all they've got today into the race. It's not about a driver standing perspective because I don't think they might be able to challenge for much more in the drivers' championship. But I think in constructors, if they do play the team game, they will be really looking down and looking behind the Red Bulls because so far in the session today, the Red Bulls haven't been able to put up some good timings, and the Williams do look really racy today. And yeah, if I was Red Bull, I need to be putting my car at least in the top six or top seven, so which will help them secure the P3 for them in constructors.
Yeah, as you see, we already have a few lap times set, contended or is at. He has already set a 134.9, but it hasn't been the fastest lap in this session yet. So I'm expecting people to push into the mids or the low 134s as
Yeah,
time progresses.
yeah, I think HB5 it has got more than a 135.079 because I think he did put a 134.8 in Q2. So yeah, I think there are more faster lap times coming. But even if it does stay like this, it's going to be a really good race for Contented Ming because he's starting on the medium. We'll be having a fast charging HP58 behind if it does start behind on the grid. And surely not going to help his tires if he's starting to chase them down in the first few laps. But yeah, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, that's a very
what is the
eventful
crash?
crash between
And
HB58 and Rahul,
and
which
the
has
other
forced Rahul to
Alpha.
DNF. And he
Oh,
has set a 135.9, but I'm sure he won't be satisfied with it. This would really, this could qualify in the incidents section and something stewards may want to look into. But that also means that Rahul is potentially going to be towards the bottom of the grid for the race. Very unfortunate event.
so the championship battle has already started in the qualifiers, and we have already got one AlphaTauri, which is out of the top five, probably which he should have been, but extremely unfortunate for him, DNFing out of the qualifying. I
Ferrari
mean,
fans would hate me for this, but it looks like HB58 has executed Shalalak may have done Shalalak may have done in Monaco.
yeah, it's I think probably what the Racing Point boys expected. I'm not saying that they wanted to do this. Obviously, it's a racing incident. Probably a pit lane incident because one of them were slowing down and one of them was just trying to make it as soon as possible into the pits. But if I was Racing Point right now, I would probably just be, putting my car into the top five and just having a good race because they are already on the front foot compared to the AlphaTauri boys. Uh, so Contented Mink will be under immense pressure today.
And as we see, second to fourth, they are only split by less than 8 tenths. And between second and third, you see it's just 3 hundredths or less. It's 800ths, not 8 tenths, my bad. So it's very close between these guys. So you can already see how competitive it will be on the top. However, while this is not the final lap times, but we still see like a massive gap, almost 2.5 seconds between the first and second position. So it will be interesting to see how close these guys could be because we have seen in other years that people get very close. Like less than 1 second between the top 15, 20 drivers. So let's see how we get here. Uh, I'd be looking for Incognito and perhaps AJ because AJ I'm yet to see him drive while on race. I'm interested to see what these guys deliver by the end of the session. We already have 3.5 minutes left, so if you leave now, you'll probably would get one or maybe two hot laps if you push both 2 laps in a row. So it
Yeah,
will
but
be interesting to see.
the second hot lap will just not help your tires if you're planning to put a faster lap, because towards the end of the lap your tires are pretty much really hot, and they won't be doing any good into turn one and turn two. So I think they have to be immensely precise on their hot lap, because it's just if that lap, that's what's going to matter, because at the end of that lap, even though if they pull out of the lap, then maybe they might be having a better tire temperatures to push for another hot lap. But we do have HP58 on a hot lap, and I think crucially this is a really important hot lap for him, because if he does want to put his car with the softs on the front row, he needs to absolutely nail this lap.
Yeah, definitely. So in that sense, you basically have one final go, especially if you're going on out lap now. And
Yeah,
we
and I think
see,
he has set a purple sector. Not
I think
anymore.
someone else has bested him on that. Uh,
Yeah,
oh, we see a car stationary on the track for a second. I think that was just a glitch.
yeah. Um, he's still putting in some good sector times. I think that should easily push him off into the top three. I think right now he is on a 135.079. If he, I mean, it's really closely separated. It's just few couple of hundreds between those guys in the top four. 135.004, 135.040, and 135.079. So extremely similar places from these four drivers. But we've got to see what HP58 can put up on this hot lap, because I don't think he has time to go back into the pits and come out for another lap. So
Yeah, even if he pushes, he won't get to have a cooldown lap.
yeah, he even if he does get a cool, does he pull out of? I think he has pulled out of his lap. Yes, he has pulled
Yeah,
out of his
I
lap.
think he's going for it now because he was
Yeah,
charging his batteries. They were at 100.
I hope his tires do.
Contended in the meanwhile has set a
Yep, yep.
134.7. So
That's
the
probably the
fastest
fastest
lap
time
in
they've
the
had.
qualifying session so far.
Yeah, so that's gonna be. I mean, obviously, in this one hot lap which HV5 did put, the tires might have gone through a lot, so I do not expect a faster lap time. But I mean, if he has got some incredible pace, he can still push the car up into P2 or P3. But he still got Stealthy Sunny into P2, so he doesn't need to completely send it off into this hot lap, because he has already got one AlphaTauri covered. I mean, that car's not going to start anyway below eighth, and unless the Red Bull boys and the Williams of Triple R Cool does put in a good lap of 135.9 and below, you can see the AlphaTauri starting at 10th, whereas his teammate Contented Mink will be P1 as of now. So we've got to see what lap timing does HB58 put, and we have the checker flag for this session. So any drivers who haven't started their final lap will not be able to put up a time.
As we see Simply YT with a monster 134.2.
Whoa,
Uh,
whoa! No
just
one expected that.
showing that he's been sandbagging this whole time, especially with Inters.
Yeah,
So
and HB Private does put it on pole position.
with
Wow,
133.9. So
that
I was
is
expecting low 134s, but they have
that
exceeded our expectations for this final
he
race.
has smashed it. Absolutely smashed that hot lap. I mean, more than a second he has pulled out on a used set of softs. I mean, it's not 2 laps old; it's almost 3 laps at the end of this lap.
Talk about sandbagging.
Yeah, I think probably he was just holding off its ERS for the entire of the lap.
very
But
interesting to
as of
see a
now,
Ferrari up there
yeah,
in the mix. That will definitely throw the constructors' battle. If Simply can showcase this in the race, that will really affect
then
those drivers who
we
need
come to
to
earning
create
contract
a
and
20 plus points gap
yeah.
for the championship. So definitely going to be very interesting.
So
As is,
it's going to be really interesting to watch how the race turns out for the challengers who are the racing point. They will be challenging for that P1 in the constructors. And so far, they have done their job pretty good in qualifiers. They have both of their cars in the top four. Uh, HB58 with the softs and starting on P1. So his strategy is completely panning out as of now. We have contended Mink, who did think that he will start the race on P1, was slipped down three positions at the end of the qualifiers with Simply YT and HB5 putting a monster of a lap. But we can do see that HB58 has a five position grid penalty on the
oh,
screen.
that's very interesting. I'm not sure we got what caused it
I
to be
think it
grand.
should be the pit lane incident.
Ah,
I think it should
definitely,
be the
yes.
pit lane incident
That makes
which
sense.
has disqualified Rahul. So Rahul starting in P9 and HB58 will be starting P5. So Ferrari is on pole. That's something new in Abu Dhabi, and we do have an interesting battle coming up in the race for the constructors. So even though it's the last race, we still haven't settled on who is taking the constructors at the end of the season. So we do have to watch the entire race because it is going to be a really interesting one.
Yeah. And the race looks dry for now. And just to recap, we had HB58 on softs for the qualifying session. Now he's on
Yeah, he's on
fifth or
soft.
sixth rather.
Yeah,
He's
he's
on
on
sixth
fifth.
rather.
He's on
Now
fifth.
he will be in the middle of the pack with softs. He's got the
Yeah,
pace as we saw with the lap time, but now he'll be held back potentially by the medium runners who may potentially also get DRS and form a train. I think potentially he may have win his race by strategy alone.
yeah, but
But again, you never know. Just the ship pace and perhaps tire management could
what he
help.
needs to do is absolutely be really cautious into turn one because if he does end up having any damage, any front wing clippings into turn one, that's just completely going to ruin his whole entire race strategy. Because he's on the softs apart from the others on the mediums. So a slight damage to his front wings will just compromise his chance of making moves on the medium runners because he needs to clear those cars within the first few laps of the DRS activation. Because once his laps are 4 5 laps down, his tires are 4 to 5 laps down. For sure, the medium runners are going to catch up to him. As we can already see that he did use the third lap of his run to set the fastest time. So yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter because those tires are not going to be used. So yeah, my bad. But yeah, I mean, if he does want to make some good moves and make some points, he has to be really cautious into turn one, and then within few laps clear the cars ahead.
Yeah. Uh, in a way, it's good that he's done it. So it gives us something to talk about and gives us to some interesting scenarios to look forward to. Um, but still, while we wait for the drivers to finish setting up for the race and start the formation lap, perhaps. Uh, After seeing Q3 results, what do you think may happen in the race? So now I turn it up to you, turn it back to you to consider which
It's
drivers to look out for.
completely you cannot expect anyone to do anything as planned because we didn't expect the Ferrari to be starting from P1 at the start of the quali. But yes, we do have YT at the front row. Um, and I do think the Racing Points need to have some team order because they will be having a medium runner ahead HB58 with Stealthy Sunny on the medium. So I think if those two cars are wheel to wheel at a certain point of the race, I think HB5 it needs to be let go. I mean, obviously we do have the mediums coming at him later on at the race at the middle of the race. But yeah, I think he should be given space from his teammate and at least help him chase down the front runners.
Yeah, in terms of driver championship, neither of the drivers have any potential to gain or lose a position now. So it's just a matter of helping a teammate.
Yeah, it's just the constructors today that's gonna matter
Yeah,
for them.
yeah. So they
Unless
should be
your
fully
constructors,
focused on that.
yeah, they should be completely focused on that.
Hmm.
I don't think the bottom three runners will be focused on the constructors, the Haas, McLaren, and the Renault. They will be probably just, it's going to be a matter of pride at who finishes where at the end of this race for them. But for the rest, it is for sure going to be a constructors' run. So they need to be really precise. They need to be really careful at what they plan and what they end up doing in the race. They cannot be aggressive, fighting each other because that's going to ruin both of their race and probably dent their chances of a constructors.
Yeah. Uh, we see a technical difficulty for Sunny, who has left
I
the
think it's a
session.
glitch. I think it's a glitch. I think there is a glitch on the server.
You reckon
Because,
that the lobby is stuck at the moment, perhaps?
yeah, I do think because no one's going to take so much time to load up the setups for sure. And
You
yeah, I
never
think
know.
they might have
People are
already
very
sorted
serious
it.
about their setups, but not this much, I think, especially with
Yeah,
Mark Famine.
it's been a
But
while now.
let's just wait and see.
I think slowly they are leaving the session one by one, but
We may be
we're yet
looking at the lobby.
So that's relativity, uh,
lobby
the
might be
host of the
restarted.
session.
Yes,
So it looks like we may have to wait for a session restart. So yet
yes,
again, it's a deja vu from Mexico. I hope everyone makes sure to load up their setups before the race, unlike some people last time.
yeah.
So let's see. It is still not confirmed yet.
Has joined back into the lobby, but it doesn't look like I think this lobby is going to work out. I think it's going to be another session separately. But what do you think? Which battle are you most interested in today for the race?
For me personally, I just want to see what HP58 does in his situation, and I want to see what Simply Whitey being up there could do for other constructors. In case he finishes on top, that would really throw off the chances of other drivers in the constructor battles. So again, this is much more interesting than I expected. I didn't expect these many things to come into play. So overall, while I don't know who will end up in the podium, etc., but definitely want to look out for HP58 and what does he do with his softs.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari being up there is going to pretty much upset the top two of the constructors because the load of points that they will be aiming for is now being blocked by a standalone Ferrari up there. So yeah, I think what they need to do is just, if I was AlphaTauri, I just need to keep my car out of any danger of any intense battle, keep my car in the points and just make that final lunge to seal the constructors. I don't need to be overly aggressive today. Just stay focused, stay calm, let the other teams battle out because they are the one who are more in need. You already are staying up in P1 right now and just get in the decent amount of points you need to seal that position.
Yeah, so if he can secure a podium, and from the lap times I've seen for Alfa Romeo, it is possible just from Simply YT's contribution, Ferrari can overtake Alfa Romeo in the constructors battle. A combination that you wouldn't think would compete in real life,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
at least that will work out for them. But that would also mean that those who have 20 points and more, including, in the case of, say, uh, Red Bull and Williams, this could really make it near impossible for them to work out. So again,
Yeah,
let's see. I think it's what the wait we have for now
yeah,
for the
it's
lobby.
a pretty big wait for us to have this enticing battle that's going to come between these constructors. But yeah, I think we have got to wait for some more time. There's for sure a glitch in the lobby. So we wait and wait for what the lobby shows up for us. And I hope it does not another glitch in the lobby because we all have been waiting enough for the race to start.
Definitely. Was this season your first season in F1 league for IRC?
Uh, yeah, actually, this is my first. I don't think you can count it even as an entire season. I joined mid-season. I think I joined. My first race was for the British Grand Prix. So it's been from there. I have been for at least 5 to 6 races for
Okay,
IRC as a tier 3 reserve driver. So
but that
I've
also
got to
adds
be
into the
pretty much everything. Yeah.
yeah. So for those who may be watching this stream and be interested in say participating in the next season for league racing, can you share your first impressions and something that uh, budding league racing drivers may want to know before committing to this?
They can
Maybe you
already
want to.
go to the Indian Racing Community website and register themselves if they want to participate in the next season.
What about your experience and how you found the half the
Uh,
season you participated so far?
so I have been racing since F1 2018. I have been not on the paid by the online version of 2018. I did have the online version of 2019. So I did play that, and I think I had Scary Pumpkin of Tier 2 as my friend on Steam. We had added each other on Steam, and then this season in F1 2020, uh, yeah, we did have quite a few races with each other, and then he told me, there is this community where we all race, and it's pretty fun. We have a fun lot of events going on. We have so many races, different tiers. He did explain me the entire process also, so I was really intrigued by this, and then of course I did uh, not waste any time in joining the IRC, and it's been pretty amazing. A lot of drivers. Real competitiveness between all the drivers, and we there are people who are always playing the game, discussing strategies, tires, setup options. So it's really fun community to be part of.
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. Uh, I was also introduced by a friend who are now two of the admins or ex-admins in the server. Um, Again, starting from just doing random unranked sessions, not really knowing how to drive. I got like a very good learning environment here where everybody's so competitive. It definitely helps you become a better driver. I wouldn't have imagined, knowing about every track on the circuit in the calendar and know about these small intricacies that goes into what looks like otherwise, just cars chasing each other on TV. Uh, so yeah, definitely, if you're out there, you're interested, uh, even if you may just have bought this game and want to get started, you're definitely welcome. And as Manish has mentioned, you can always go to our website and follow the instructions from there.
Yeah,
So
and
I
the
see the
drivers have
session demo.
started to join. Yeah,
So it looks like we are going to have the race. I've been told when the race will start, we will have something interesting happen. So I'll wait for the race start to close it.
I think we are away with the formation lap. And yes, HB58 is starting P6 today. And yeah, it's pretty much downstream from there for all of the other drivers. We have got the Red Bull of Red Skull in P5. We have got Incognito in P10. So pretty big gap between those two guys. And the Williams in P4, P7. So that's another battle to watch out between the Red Bull and the Williams. We have got battle between the Ferraris and the Alfa Romeo. Also, all for the constructors, as because the drivers' championship already sealed. So we have these three battles today for the constructors. The first one being for the constructor championship between the AlphaTauri and the Racing Point. Then we have got for the P3 spot between Red Bull and Williams. And the next battle we have got is between the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo for the P6 position in the championship standing.
All right. So as the cars are heading towards the next sectors for the formation lap, I have an update regarding the incident we have at the pit lane. It looks like the five place grid penalty that HV got, it will be reverted live in this session. It looks like in lap 1, he will be allowed to get his track position, and then the race will properly start from there.
So it's going to be a rolling start?
I mean, you can't do that in the game, so
Yeah, I mean,
how
they
this
have to
will be
go
done
on.
is everybody will maintain their track position like now, but
Yeah,
in the proper restart. But HP will be allowed to get back to the first position. No overtakes
that's
will
a
happen
big up
during
for
that
the
time.
strategy. Yeah,
So interesting. I can't ever imagine this happening in other league, but
for sure.
definitely you watched it here first.
It's going to be interesting to see how HP58 will be led ahead. Because it's
It
going to be a
definitely helps
livestock
with the tire strategy at least. And
Yeah.
as you see that the two drivers behind him were on top, so he would be in a very interesting position for him.
At Star Max Lords going on the softs also starting P16, so that's going to be interesting to watch. So why don't you take us away from lights away?
All right. Definitely for me, this will be a very interesting start to see as everyone has lined up. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go, as they say. And the special arrangement for letting HP58 get the first position has happened. And I think they will start racing now. So the turn one drama you were expecting did not quite happen.
Yeah,
However, you
because
see pile up happening already.
I don't understand what's going on. I think the game has glitched because
Yeah, so this
the
is Codemasters is glitching out, so we'll wait for the
timing screens have gone completely nuts. And we
yeah.
can see already places being swapped between Stealthy Sunny and Katie. So I don't understand what's going on, but yes, we do have HP58 who is already leading the Grand Prix. He has pulled out at least a second to the Ferrari, but Russell going out behind with the Red Bulls and the Williams. I think it's a rolling start. I think it's a rolling start between all of these drivers because no one is giving it an absolute spin into the first lap. Everyone is kind of treading around. So I think it might be a safety car kind of restart without the safety car.
Yeah, so I guess it's like an interesting start. Like in that sense, it's good. I hope nobody got damaged now. I don't see any penalties for starting before the lights out, so that's all good. So yeah, probably the first time I'm seeing a rolling start like this.
Yeah, it's the first time for me for sure.
Yeah, so if you caught it live, you can feel free to say in chat, you were here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think HP5 is holding up the pack ahead, and I think it's going to be a safety car restart without the safety car, so he's entitled to hold the pack until the checkered flag. But let's see how does this how will this race start for our drivers? I think he has already sent it. Yep, I think the race is now officially away. All the drivers trying to make move. into lap one, but we have got the Ferrari, which is right behind HP58. So it will be interesting to watch what happens on the back straight for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Simply can potentially stay within the DRS range by lap 3, but again, if like you anticipate HP want to push it in the first few laps, create that gap, break the DRS train, then probably that should not matter.
I think the timing screens are still glitched out because according to the timing screens, we have the Mercedes on P1 and HP58 on P3. But it looks like Williams of Katie did make a pit stop. I think probably she did have a damage or something.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate, especially with your rolling start. Everybody got like a cheap one lap relief to their tires. So, with that logic, yeah, definitely a disadvantage for them. We see a yellow sector 3 as the
Renault
runner
did
of
get away.
Pasty
Yeah. So I
has gone
think
off
this
track.
is the leaderboard. I don't know how the Mercedes is ahead. It has made 13 positions, but yeah, it's so far looking like HP5 has got the restart sorted and is completely comfortably heading away with P1. We've got to see how those tires will hold on to him because
Oh, as we
Frankenstein
see,
has tired and we do have a safety car. Okay,
uh,
that's interesting.
so I see the car has perhaps retired on track. I'm not sure. But again, at this point, it's interesting. Do you want to pit now?
So it is a good time for pit stop if you are a soft runner and if you are ahead, but it's just 3 laps down, and I don't think HB5 will be looking into the pit stop because it's a 28 lap race and you do need tires towards the end of the race. So I think he is still going to hold on to those tires. In a way, it's going to be actually a blessing for him, soft, because he's going to lose 1 to 2 laps of, he's going to gain 1 to 2 laps of tire life because of safety car, and probably that will help him extend his strategy.
Yeah. In reality, like even unlike it would have been in other cases, you had the first lap, which was fairly cheap on the tire wear side. So essentially, you get to go up to 4 or even 5 laps in safety car conditions
So
on your socks, which
it
will
has
definitely
really
help with
helped
the
the top
mileage.
runners. Yeah, it really helped the
Um,
top runners so far.
yeah, but
So
we
what do you think?
see
Is
a
this
lot of
a good
incidents are
step or
happening
is
in safety car,
one step?
collisions are happening. Hopefully, it doesn't
Yeah,
lead to requiring ring changes.
so
But
we
we've
can see
had some
anybody
penalties
driving in the pit.
handed out. Yeah, AJ Samsa dropped down. Was he ahead or
Yeah, and
okay?
Rahul is in the pits. So
Yeah,
the Alpha
so
car
that's
is
from the
now in the
damage
pits.
he received from the incident.
I've got few cars in the pit. There are almost 3 cars in the pit. The Red Bull also of Incognito. Rahul and AJ are all in the pits. They were running the mediums, I suppose, but they have switched from mediums to mediums only. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think they should have switched to the hards and towards the end of the race put on a couple of softs.
Actually, as they both have gone to the harder compounds, so AJ went to mediums, Rahul went to hards. So
So
for
Rahul
Rahul,
did
it's
go to
gone
hard.
that worse after getting crashed out in pits. He has now faced an incident during safety car, so he'll be trying
Yeah,
to go
he's on
for
the
an
bottom of the
alternate
grid right
driver
now.
strategy.
Yeah, it's not going to be. He's not going to be happy with this. Rahul was disqualified from qualifying, not of his fault, and has somehow managed to put his car in harm's way again during the start of the race. So the AlphaTauris will be itching right now on where they're going to end at the end of the race. But he still can make it into the points, get his car into a couple of good, decent points. If a P6 or P7 are also is achieved, and with Contended Mink giving his absolutely best and trying to make it into the podiums, they still can. But it does look really competitive from the racing point because HB58 from the timing screens does look he's P2, but I'm pretty sure he is leading the race.
Even in the game, I see the Mercedes is up front.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
Maybe in the first lap he didn't get the memo. He may
yeah,
have overtaken everyone. Not
yeah.
sure in his position to keep, but as of now, I think the leaderboard you see is correct. I see.
Yeah.
I think the Mercedes is still ghosted, so not 100% sure what's going on here.
I think even though if he is ghosted, I think he might be letting the other cars go by into turn one.
Oh, and we have some drama in the
That was
first
close.
turn. People
That was
have
really close.
underestimated the braking, and Sam Max Lord
Yeah.
has got some contact as a result, and 5 second time penalty. Oh, there's even more through
Going
these
on.
corners in
Still
sector one.
going on. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they're sticking to each other's gearbox right now. I mean, it's especially for the drivers who are challenging today for constructor spot. They really need to be out of harm's way. And there is another front wing chip flying away. I think it was a Red Bull.
Correct.
Red Bull of Red Skull.
So in a way, it's good for the Williams, but
Yeah. So
they may also get the penalty because they were technically in the incident. So it
yeah.
doesn't help anyone. So we already see Triple Akul has a 5 second penalty, uh, and the Ferrari of Plaza also has it. So definitely for the battle for midfield, not great. Red Skull got another 5 second penalty. I think it's this first one actually. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
So
not great news for them.
the safety car is really helping the soft runners. I mean, it's just 4 laps in, and we have got at least 2 or 3 laps of completely off pace going cars.
Yeah,
So
but safety car is going in now, so that should be the end of that.
it's going to
Let's
be an
hope
interesting
the
restart
restart
now.
is fine, just like
Yeah.
the manual
Let's
start.
hope we get our turn one safety car. But I
But
doubt
from the way it's going, at least for the red ones, not great. I hope there's no damage, but I see Incognito has dropped a place. And we are heading towards the last few corners before the safety car goes in. Again, we
almost
see already like half the
come out.
grid has 5 seconds or more from safety car incident.
So the safety car is going in at the end of this lap. So HP58 will probably be looking to make that move into P1 officially on the charts. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We start to watch how these drivers are going to put their car exactly where right. And yes, we are away. And HB58 yes has managed to get the jump on the Mercedes. Is already in P1, and there is some wheel banging going between the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri. The Racing Point taking that as a real lovely opportunity to make a move on him. So some really good racing to going on down there. But yeah, I mean, if Racing Point need to put this as a constructor when they need to keep pushing places up, and already we can see both the Racing Point cars are in the podiums. So as of now, it looks like they will be the ones stealing the constructors championship away. If it does stay like that, but contended Mink will still be getting 18 points and of P2 if it does stay like that, and I think that should be pretty much enough if they are planning to secure the constructor championship.
Definitely. Actually, so the Mercedes, it looks like it's been ghosted the whole time because the driver isn't connected in the session. I should have realized that earlier. So that means whatever the Mercedes gets in the end is not going to be considered. As a rule for our league race, you need to be connected in the race for 75% or more of the race itself. So you can just ignore the Mercedes as it's getting overtaken by everyone on the grid now. I'm interested to see why simply got dropped down a couple positions. I hope he can bring it back. We already see.
It doesn't look like it as of now because he is dropping behind Stealthy Sunny, and it doesn't look like he has the pace to catch him over. He might be under pressure soon, I guess, from Triple R Cool because he's the one running on the softs. So unless he can keep the car together on the softs, Simply Whitey will be under pressure again from the Williams, which is right behind him. But yeah, Rahul does make it up to P9. Wow, that is quite a start from him. He was at the bottom of the grid, and he is actually fighting his way back into the points, and he has made it to P9 and P8 now. So, as Ferrari not giving up as of now because they still do have a really quick car out there, and the hards, he will be surely pushing it deep into the end of the race.
Yes, he's definitely on the charge. Plus, he doesn't have anything to lose, only for the constructor battles. He's trying his best. And given we have 5 seconds and like 10 seconds or more for the case of Incognito, he kind of has potentially 5th position right now. And with the hards, he does have an advantage to go much longer. So perhaps he may have to pit again unless he can pull it off magically. It still looks like, and I think we almost gave him Travis
Yeah,
the commentator's
he
curve.
almost lost it. But
So,
yeah, he needs to keep the tires in a good shape towards the end of the race, or else at the end of the race when everyone will be on a better and fresher tires, he's just not going to survive in the battle. Which right now he is going to be in really good shape because with the hard, he's going to have the upper hand on the soft runners especially, and a few laps down he will be also making moves with medium tire run.
we see in Sector 3, the Ferrari of I think Raghav has had a spin, but he has also slipped down to 14, and he has gone to pits now. I think he had some damage, and to make matters worse, he's gotten 5 seconds time penalty. So for Ferrari, it's trying to resting on Simply's shoulder at this point. And we see Incognito make a move on.
Whoa, that was quick. That was
very quick. And
Williams
teammate,
I think that was a contact that Triple Akul actually did send it into the turn. He wanted that position really badly, and Incognito still on the tail. Both the Red Bulls are staying in DRS range within each other. So it's going to be fun watching these two boys push their car up front and defend that position of P3 from the Williams, because right now they're not defending, they are attacking the Williams, as you can see, because Katie is not looking in the points as of now, is P13. Did see a few front wing chips flying off, I think, of the Red Bull. Probably tried to make a lunge, but didn't work out. But as of now, yes, it does look like Red Bull are more better position to stay in P3. And yes, we do have Red Skull pitting, so I think that was a front wing damage from him. Yeah, I think he's down. He's down in the pits now, and that should probably help JT push Williams into points finish and probably help Triple R Cool challenge for some healthy points in the battle for P3.
Definitely. What it seemed like initially was Incognito being like Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen in Baku, in, I think 2018.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's more of a team play because Red Skull had damage and he had to also serve some penalties for the safety car situation. But at least Incognito, despite having 10 seconds or more in time penalties, he's still making moves trying to give his best. At this point, it's interesting to see that Raghav has fit, but he has gone for softs. At this leg of the race, do you think it's wise? Maybe you should go for something like that instead?
I don't think so. No, going on the softs at this point, I think even if in the last few laps If he wanted to go for the soft, it would make some sense. But he's just going to drop down again because he'll have to pit for sure towards the end of the race, and he'll be probably coming out on the mediums. Um, I don't know what strategy he's got a plan, but I do hope it works out for him. As you can see, the AlphaTauri trying to make a move on Incognito, but Incognito holding that racing line and still keeping him at bay.
Definitely, Rahul, as he's on his charge, the DRS train that has formed between 6 to 8
So just look really
kind
cool.
of
He
has
had
been.
to lift off there. I think he might be trying to send one into the back straight because we'll be having the better traction and the slipstream. And I think he has the better tires also because the hards will right now being in a better shape compared to the mediums, and the DRS will also help him to swoop past Incognito from the Red Bull.
Interestingly,
So
Incognito should also have TRS because he's within that gap. However, he's able to make that overtake look so easy. Um, yeah, let's see if so in this track, if you get the first one in detection zone, you get both TRS back to back. So this has enabled Rahul to get super close to triple also,
yeah,
whose
yeah,
tires are aging now. And here you can definitely see the tire advantage for him as he's trying
oh,
to make
too
an
close. That
interesting
was too
overtake.
close. That was too close. I don't think he
Not
needs
a
to be really
very
aggressive because
ambitious
the
there, in
cars
my
ahead,
opinion.
yeah, the cars
At
ahead are
least
going to be way slower than him. So I think he just needs to stay calm and just put the car at the right place. He doesn't need to be overly aggressive and try to make moves because he's already driving a phenomenal race. He's basically driving like how Charles Leclerc drove in Austria from the back of the grid and now is already in P6 after the pit stop. So already did make a collision uh, with Triple R Cool, I think so. But I think he'll be looking to put that AlphaTauri ahead of him in the back straight where he did make a move on Incognito. But he does look really close and he has to lift off again.
he's too
Uh,
fast.
he's
But
too
good on
fast and
both of
Triple R
them
Cool,
for
yeah,
keeping it
Triple R Cool
still
is
without
defending.
any serious damage. To say.
Yeah, he's defending hard. And I think this straight is where I think he'll be able to make a move. He's using all of his DRS, DRS too, so it should be an easy move. Yep, goes on the outside, swoops past him, and it's a move done. So he's put his car into P5. So as of now, with the racing points up in P1 and P3, the AlphaTauris are really looking like they're edging back into the game and trying to close down the gap in the constructors right now.
Yeah, so as one of the main rules of streaming, I never do maths in live stream. But if we are thinking of who can, at the current state, to get the championship, assuming that the lead we have for third position, the lead we have is like getting a third place position. You can basically ignore what Stelty has, and that sense there's like I think 9 points gap between first and second in points. So as of now, AlphaTauri is keeping their position.
Oh, and that's the
As
move done.
Contender has made a very risky move, couldn't stick it
Uh,
because of a poor exit, and he's
yeah,
already looking for overtaking HB, who has a very poor tire. So, like I had
yeah,
mentioned in the qualifying session, in case there's a safety car, despite making all the gap that you can with socks in the first stint, it can all go into the bin if there's a safety car, and that has happened. And you can see Stealthy even also eyeing on overtaking his teammate potentially. So that's why I had really considered this strategy very risky, and it is showing right now. Contender has still managed to get the overtake done, and he's on a charge. It looks like he can potentially also break the DRS train soon.
yeah.
So
I think what HB58 needs to do is just dive into the pits, pick up the hards, and let Stealthy Sunny challenge contentment, because he's just going to slow down Stealthy Sunny because he's on a better tires than HP5, who almost does lose it. And yes, he does make a pit stop. So that's a good call. Never late. It's better than that. I completely messed up that line, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Better late than
Yeah,
never, as you wanted to say, I
yeah,
think. But it
yes,
felt like
exactly.
Stealthy Sunny may also would like to change his tires soon, because there was some struggle with grip right there. Um, and as I had mentioned, Contented has already made a 6 tenths gap, almost 1 second gap between Stealthy,
1.7
within
seconds is
one
that.
lap, even rather
Yeah,
one sector. So he's
yeah,
gone clear for now. And Rahul, while
yeah,
he has gone up, he's still about 16 seconds behind the next car.
yeah. And
So,
he is right ahead of HP58. So if
and he's
Rahul
getting
wants to be
pretty
a team player,
with
yeah,
much
if he wants to
newer
be a team
tires.
player,
So
he needs
yeah,
to defend. He
definitely
needs to
going to be a
hold that
battle those
58.
two. Um,
Because Contented Mink has to come in for his pit stop within the next few laps, and HB58 really needs to be there to take the position from him, because if they want to seal their constructors today, they need to be there. And but if a safety car does come out right now, I don't think it's going to be helpful for the Racing Point guys. Stealthy Sunny can obviously do make a good pit stop, a free pit stop if a safety car does come out, but it looks highly unlikely, as Yas Marina does have a lot of run-up area. So unless two cars will go into each other, there's highly unlikely chances of a safety car being coming just on racing incident.
and again, both top runners, rather all three on the top three, all three have the same tire age. So it's now a matter of game of chicken. And considering they had 4 laps where they didn't really get much tire wear, it will be a case whether you want to overcut or you want to play a game of chicken and copy whatever the next driver is doing. But as we see, there is already 2 seconds plus gap between each of these drivers. So definitely they're not going to get any advantage of DRS. So it's just a matter of your pace and how you manage your tires now. So very interesting indeed.
So the guys running on the mediums will be looking into the softs towards the end of the race. So Contended Mink will be probably having a better chance to steal away that fastest lap of the race also, because he'll be on the softer tires. But I think it should be Stealthy Sunny, because he also will be looking to go on the soft tires towards the end of the race, because he should try to get that fastest lap away from Contended Mink if he wants to stand any chance of making a constructor win for Racing Point today.
As we see, Catty is really draining their battery just to catch up to HB. But definitely with 11 laps, younger tires, and the pace
It's
he
not gonna
has,
work out.
it will be a
Yeah,
tall order, to say the least.
it'll be taller, yeah. But I think P5 also is a healthy chunk of points. He'll be getting around 10 points. What the other Williams needs to do is now fight his way up into the points, because he does have a fresher set of mediums, as I can see on the screen. Put the car around a 6th or 7th position. It should help them in challenging for that spot.
Yeah, but at this point, they need Williams need to win, or at least
Yeah,
get like top,
yeah,
at least one in the podium if they want to
yeah.
have a chance at overtaking their competitor.
Unless both the Red Bulls crash out or do something like Baku, but yeah, other than that, it looks like a really tall order for them to climb up right now.
Correct. And it's still impressive to see Simply still up there. And as it is, it looks like Ferrari has a chance of overtaking the Alfa Romeo team. But we still have Star Max Lord, who still is getting some points for the team. So it is still a close battle. Very a lot of timelines to look out for. A lot of possibilities. So it's still
Yeah.
very exciting to see what's happening.
So if a safety car does come out right now, so it should help our top three. But I assume they're separated by a gap of around 12 to 15 seconds. from HB58 to P1. So if they do manage to pit, HB58 is going to be way ahead of them once they come out from the pit stop. But then yes, they will be having the faster tires, softs, and it's going to be a fun race towards the end. While you can see the I'm sorry, the Haas and the Red Bull wheel banging each other, and yeah, Kakar looking to make a move on Incognito and has made a move successfully.
That's what
And I think,
double DRS in the longest, one of the longest straights does for
yeah.
your race strategy.
And
But he has
also
to make it big
pressure
now,
set.
and
Yeah.
he doesn't have much ERS, so he doesn't have the same DRS advantage as he just had. So it will be interesting
He
to see
drained
if
out
he can
everything he had to make that move stick.
but he already has a 1 second plus gap, so you never know.
Mm.
And that's just the that just shows how much DRS can impact you in this. And Incognito got another 5 second time penalty, 3 seconds rather. Not his day. Lots of penalties.
So I think the Red Bull, both of the Red Bulls are on a hard, and Kakar is in the medium. So I think you can expect another move from Kakar on Red Skull, because it does look like he might be gaining on him. Yeah, it's just 1.9 seconds. While you can see Triple R Cool also looking to make a move on Incognito. So Williams trying to put their car into the points. Not going to help them as much for the constructors, but who wouldn't like to finish the race on a high, right?
Plus, not having penalties helps.
Yeah.
As it is, they may still get a position or two from this. But yeah, you have to maximize your track position also, given you have proximity, better tires, and drivers like Starbucks are struggling a bit with their setups. And we see the front runners going for pit.
Stealthy
So
Sunny going for uh, the the first pit stop compared to Contended Ming. So he might be trying to make a move on him once Contended Ming will be coming in, because the softs will be the better tire compared to the mediums right now, which is 16 laps old. So HB58, 14.5 seconds to Contended Ming. So I think when he does pit, HB5 will be comfortably ahead of him. But it's towards the end of the race, we can see Contended Ming sizing up a move on him, while Stealthy Sunny is on the softs. You cannot expect him also to make a move on HB5 towards the end of the race also.
but do you think these tires can last 11 laps?
That's the big question. That's the big question. I was going to say that I was going to make that point, because the softs, within 5 to 6 laps in Yasna Arena, starts to struggle with the temperatures and the grip levels of the car, because there are so many corners in sector 3. And yeah, that shouldn't help. But a safety car or something like that, which will help these soft runners prolong their tire life, should help them.
And on the flip side, in case these drivers can manage it, that also means HB58 doesn't need to pit anymore.
Yeah, he's
Because
not
he
going to
just has a 4 lap old medium. So,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely a medium tire can do
And
14
Contended
laps.
Ming has made a pit stop, and it'll be interesting to see where Stealthy Sunny comes out, because both of them had pitted 1 lap earlier, and we can see that Stealthy Sunny has come out still behind Contended Ming. So good call from Contended Ming coming in the next lap after Stealthy Sunny did make a pit, because he did know that if he stayed out for quite longer, he will be overcutted on the pit stop.
And in a way, this has been a great undercut from HB because he's now in the front with a good margin. He's showing
7.6
pace,
seconds.
clean air, no one
But,
close, with DRS advantage. Looking pretty good for him.
Yeah, if I was HB58, what I would be doing is preserve my tires, because contended Mink with the softs will be pushing it to the absolute limits. But towards the end of the race, he might be not having such good tires to defend in case if HB58 has the better tire life and tries to make a move at the end of the race.
Yeah, so it looks like the top two positions are somewhat locked, unless they mess up. I hope not. Maybe for content. As we see, an
That was,
interesting attempt from
that was,
Incognito to overtake.
I
Pushes
think he has
Kakar completely
lost a lot
off the
of front
track,
wing. Yep.
but
He has
I
lost
think
his
he
front
also had
side
a role
wing.
to play there. Um, the- yeah, you don't. There's an end plate missing now, so not the best situation for Incognito at the moment.
Red Bull are now kind of in a bad position if they want to be. I mean, obviously they've got it covered, but yeah, they will not be happy to end this season because it's been a really disappointing race so far for them. And with the damage that Incognito has now, will be pushing him towards the bottom of the table as of now. Probably he'll be coming out P15 if he does make a pit stop right now, but I doubt that he will be making a pit stop right now. He's going to stick with those front wings and stay till the end of the race.
Yeah, but as a Red Bull fan, not a great showing. um,
And I think the Williams, no, I'm not the Williams. I mean the Haas did move quite a lot trying to defend that position.
yeah, so that's where I mentioned like I think both drivers had a role to play there. But yeah, this kinds of incidents we did see quite a lot of it happen throughout the season. So it's a bit more rowdy out here, to say the least. Still very fun to watch. It's still commendable that these drivers still make it safe enough that they don't end their races like this. Still, the wing damage for Incognito has potentially should force him to pit, but he has chosen not to. So
I don't know if
it
you have
will
been
be
looking at the
and
timing
off.
screens, but contended Mink has moved the gap from 7 seconds to almost 3.4 seconds in a matter of a lap time. So some superb pace coming up from the AlphaTauri, but I don't know if he should be pushing his car that hard right now because towards the end of the race, his tires are not going to do that good to him.
This is somewhat reminiscent of the French GP, I suppose. Then,
Yeah,
tough tires
it's
trying
like
to
that.
catch up. But yeah, we are not that deep into the race that you should be sending it. Let's see if he can manage his tires later, as they have. He has already
That was so
created
close.
1 second
Close.
less gap while we were talking
Yeah.
about this.
So I think
In,
he's gonna make a move this lap for sure.
so AWS predictions powered by Manish is predicting 1 lap track time.
Yes,
Or whatever
striking
it's called.
distance.
Striking distance, correct. Nice.
And the striking distance, the difficulty level is going to be quite easy.
Definitely. What about if you are in Red Skull's shoes? Like, do you envision him fitting at all, or do you think he's going to be competitive enough with the help of DRS to gain a position over Triple?
I think Triple Akul is having the better pace compared to the Red Bull because he did look quite fast and he also has the fresher tires with 6 lap old mediums. There is a battle going up ahead between Kakar and Incognito. I think they still haven't forgotten the incident that has happened few laps ago, which ended up with Incognito losing his front end plate. But they're still going at each other, and I think Star Max Lord is looking for an opportunity here. And he does come out on the outside of that and does make a good move, beautiful move on the Haas driver of Kakar. But and he's already looking like to making a move on incognito, so that should be looking like two moves in a lap, and does make a beautiful dive bomb and has made two positions up within a sector.
Indeed. As we see this, contender has picked up a 3-second penalty. So that while he is now in the DRS zone from his competitor up front, it
That's not good.
may throw a spanner in the works. But I believe he can.
Without wicket.
Well, as I said that, problem solved. But does it mean Stealthy Sunny, who's not too far back at
Tough battle going on here. I'm sorry to break you, but there is a tough battle going on here between these two drivers. And Kakar again has made up a place on both of them. So I think it's going to be fun to watch this. But I think we would like to move to our P1 battle because that's what is going to decide the constructors today for us.
definitely.
Yep,
There was a
and contended Mink has made the move on HB58. HB58 will be having the slipstream, but contended Mink with the DRS ahead of him. I think he did pick up the move before the DRS detection. And goes a bit wide, but I think HB58 doesn't have tires right now to make a lunge. And even though with the DRS is closing up, but the softs are just doing its magic as of now. But we don't need to give up over here anything. We can still expect a battle between them once the soft starts to wear out. But as of now, contended Mink is leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for the final race of the Xbox series and has made a brilliant strategy move, putting up the softs towards the end of the race.
what's the fight for the point. Starmax has gained the position, and Crockett has actually fell down a couple positions. I think he has quit. So that should put an end to that. While we see Kathy and
He had one
Simply.
back too many.
Kathy does have, I think, 6 seconds or more in penalties. So Simply should have some edge on track. Well, I mean, in overall positioning, but still, he would like to
I think it's
keep
going to be
his
bragging rights at the end of the race for these two guys who comes up ahead.
indeed.
But,
I'm not sure if my eyes deceive me, but we see 1 lap gap between second and third. Is that true?
I don't think so. That's a Codemaster glitch for sure.
In case it is, that's relatively. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, the game is glitching out.
Okay,
So, yeah.
so doing another case.
Williams making a move.
And Kathy making a move on the similar age
Beautiful.
tire, but he's
Beautiful move.
used up all his ERS in the process. So can he defend it?
Right.
He has
He's gonna make a
ERS.
move. Simply Whitey will be looking to make a move on, and HP58 gets another 3-second penalty.
Ooh, that should really impact the race. But at least for a race for first, but at least getting the 2 podium positions, they still have a chance, I think.
Yeah, they have 6 seconds each for both the Racing Point drivers. Contended Mink. If I am contended Mink right now, I just want to keep my car at the right part of the track. Don't need to send it completely. The guys behind us having a 3-second penalty. You do have a race win inside, so just keep the car on track, push it into the right corner, and I think that's going to be a job done in sealing the win for today's race for them.
Yeah. So now we see proper deltas. So Kathy has 12 seconds to catch up to if they want to place in that podium. But Stealthy and HP58 can at least give each other DRS support and try to create a gap so that the 6 seconds don't come into play. At least for the likes of, say, Simply Whitey, if he's able to make a move. But if he's held back by Kathy, it may be the possibility of Ferrari overtaking Alfa Romeo that may be ruled out if he can't gain this position as soon as possible.
Yeah, it looks like that as of now, but I think the race up front is looking like it's going to stay like that because all the three drivers keeping the cars within each other at a certain distance, not much far ahead. Stealthy Sunny, what's the gap between him and HP?
I think it's 0.8, right? From the way it looks.
0.8. I think he should let him pass by.
But there's also a blue flag situation going on where Sekar is in the middle. There should be blue flags
Probably the
now.
0.8 should be for the DRS.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's HP58 is indeed in the DRS range of Stealthy Sunny, and so far it doesn't look like they might be stealing away the constructors from AlphaTauri. So I think he will be trying to make a move in HP58 into back straight.
Now let's see if the team play goes into the mix now, because Stealthy does not have any penalties.
Yeah,
So-
and the gap between HP58 and contended meet is at least 5 seconds. So it doesn't look like that's going to be covered up soon. So I think team orders won't be a part here anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And anyway, Stealthy is going for it.
Yep,
he
and
has
he has sent that one in. So probably the better strategy was to let Stealthy Sunny into opener and try to make a move contender. With 3 laps remaining, he has a mighty 5 seconds to chase down. But if he does,
more likely to get within the 3-second cap. So that should be good. If he doesn't get any penalties himself. And he yeah, but let's see if he manages to do it. Now it's clear air for him to play fair track. He just has to think it like a qualifying session, just send it, see if he can get that gap close. Anyways, Codemasters is making it full of suspense for us. But this should kind of throw light into the situation as Stealthy loses it a little. Still, I think he still can bridge the gap as there are 2 more laps after this. In the meanwhile, he's also trying to catch up to Gatti. I mean, Gatti has 9 seconds penalty, so it's looking very nice for Simply. He could have a place at podium now. So
yeah, he can because the cars ahead are at least having a 6 and 9 seconds penalty.
actually, yeah. So he is already within the 6-second window that he needs to be. So that is looking very nice for the Ferrari. So perhaps the Ferrari dream is not dead yet, but we still have to see till the end of the race.
I think that's going to be a really good way for him to end the season on the podium for Ferrari.
Definitely. Besides him and Sunny, I see only AJ and Killer, who's actually just AI at the moment, have no penalties. But someone like Incognito has up to 14 seconds. So I'm not sure if this track has a reputation for time penalties, but at least in hot lap, it's very easy to, in time trials, it's very easy to invalidate your lap.
Yeah.
So definitely that's coming into play here.
So ahead of Katie, there is a blue flag car, but I think this is going to be an interesting battle to watch out how these two are going to end up towards the end of the race, because Simply has anyway sealed that position of Katie anyway. But it's going to be a matter of time to see if he does want to make that move on track and gain the position, or just the time penalties to help him seal in that position.
Given his ERS and everybody's on softs with the same age, I'd recommend he takes it a bit safer than that. But again, for the bragging rights, if he wants to push it, and now he has the advantage of DRS when all the tires are
not using this DRS, probably send a late one.
probably as the Williams is charging their batteries also, but due to poor exit, I don't think it will happen now.
Far away. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look. that he can. But he still has one more lap. So I mean, he just needs to charge his battery for the remaining lap and have a go at the lap in the final lap of the race.
So we see HB58, he's now in third, but then with penalties, he has actually lost out in the podium. So what do you think? Did he do well with the tire strategy, or there could have been
No,
some...
I don't think so. Because so far the winners are the ones who started on medium. So the medium guys are clawing back their way into the race, whereas the soft starters are dropping down because they're having the tires which are at least 14 lap old towards the end of the race, and medium tires which is 14 lap old towards the end of the race. It's not going to be a quick one. It's going to be a really slow one. A hard 14 laps and whoa! No, and that's a safety car. Will that be a safety car? Yes, it is. But I think the race might end.
Could be a VSC at most. Unlucky.
That's really sad for him.
But it shows that you cannot let these softs beyond a few laps. Like you were saying, after 5th or 6th lap, you're supposed to see a noticeable drop in grip. And these drivers have pushed it to 10 laps and over.
Healthy Sunny has managed to drop position. HP58 has come back, and those two are also battling up ahead, if you can see from Katie. So Katie is looking in a really good position to make some beautiful moves and does make a contact with HP58. So I think this last lap is turning out very interesting for these three drivers. But looks like Stealthy Sunny is going to stay ahead, even though HP58 does have penalties.
It's just a matter of who has more penalties between Kathy and HP. But almost the end of the race, DNFA.
And Contented Mink has won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with a superb start to end strategies and has probably sealed the constructors of the while both the Racing Points coming into the podiums, a good race for them. They did their absolute best. The tire strategy is not working for HB58, but I think they did a commendable job in mounting up a challenge to the AlphaTauri boss.
Rahul came 5th after being sent to the back after like 2 stints of being unlucky. So good finish by him. He still went for 11 lap stops despite having hards. Still making it work though.
Drive from him.
Definitely commendable drive from him. And we see other drivers completing the final lap. So what we were expecting more or less didn't quite happen, but
but
still a great
it was a fun race to watch.
race.
It was a really fun race to watch.
The Red Bulls have dropped down quite a bit. Incognito still made it to the points, so that's still good to see.
We still have probably some reports or incidents being reported after the race. So you never know what the positions are going to be once the stewards' verdict do come out. But as of now, it does look like AlphaTauri have sealed the Constructors' Championship for this season. But yes, a really good drive from Contended Mink. Had the strategy absolutely spot on. Made the perfect right calls, and probably did the better job on the medium tires than the soft runners.
Definitely. Can't beat the meta. Plus, it's been a great showing regardless. Regarding the penalties, I think it will be a closer battle on the top because you see the delta is so much more towards the bottom. They may not, even if someone gets a 10-second time penalty post-race, I don't think it will make too much of a difference for some of the drivers. But all in all, I think the WDC and WCC are both sealed. I think we have all our podium drivers from the podium into our commentators box. Manish, take it through us.
Yeah, so congratulations to all of our podium sitters today. A big congratulations to Contended Mink for securing that win. Phenomenal drive, man. What did you take through in the qualifiers as a strategy for your race?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, this race, I wasn't sure I had the pace. Definitely quality pace was a bit off. So going up in third, I think, yeah, was a bit of a surprise and maybe gave me some confidence into the race. And strategy two worked out pretty well. I was planning to do a one stop from the outset, mediums onto softs, and the initial safety car and the rolling start helped with the tire wear, even though it wasn't the issue. But I was able to go one lap longer and attack on the softs later with, attack harder since I had lesser laps to run.
So you guys knew that once the race is going to start, that the Racing Point boys will be looking to mount a move on you guys in the constructor. So was there any team calls during the race? How did you guys plan out?
No, not really. Even throughout the season, we've never had many team calls. There have been times we've let each other by when we're on very different strategies, different tires or different tire wear. But not much in team call. Even qualifying, we don't really go for to give each other toes or anything like that. And Rahul had some issues with qualifying, so we were pretty far apart. So the thing was just from where he started, just get as high up as possible and hope the points work out. And I think he had some damage again during the safety car. I think maybe some other racers were racing him under safety car, so he had to pit. So he did a great job to come all the way back up to, I think, 5th or 6th where he finished. So that was great also.
Yeah, congratulations, man, for your win. And what a great way for you to end the season on the winning step of the podium. And all the best for the next season.
Great. Yeah. If you don't mind, I'd just like to say well done to my title driver HB also. It was great racing him throughout the season. I mean, I think in the first few races, looking at his pace, had pretty much given up on the championship itself. But throughout the season, we had some great battles, and he was very gracious when he won, and even more gracious in defeat. And it was a pleasure to race with him.
Thank you so much for those words, Contended Mink. Stealthy Sunny, good race from you, man. Good call on the tires and on the strategy. You did have a better pace towards the end of the race. Quite an intense battle going on between the two of you in the last few laps. But take us through to your with your race strategy today for the race, and how was the team calls between? You knew that today you will be fighting the AlphaTauri boys for the constructors championship.
Yeah, first thing, congrats Mink and Rahul for the constructors. And to be honest, I didn't have enough pace. I feel from me what I had in qualifying and shit. So sorry for the swear. I'm actually kind of pissed because I had lost pole due to invalidation by 1 pixel. I was been like angry throughout since, but yeah, good racing for P2 and bring it off on a podium. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
Yeah, congratulations. Beautiful drive from you. You guys did absolutely the best you could do for your team today to make it on the top step of the podium and on the constructors, but didn't pan out like that. But really tough fight. Good luck for you for the next season, and we'll now move on to HP58 for
Thank you
the
guys.
last
Thank
part
you.
of this podium interview. So HP58, you moved to the softs for the qualies and started the race. Quite up. It was a really good move from all the drivers to let you go through. Really great driving from you throughout the race. After that 5th place grid penalty that you received for due to some Codemasters glitch. So, were there some team talks between you guys on splitting the strategies, or it was an individual call to go on the song?
Um, First of all, I'd like to congratulate Mink on his drivers championship. He won it last week, but still he did a good job. He's been consistent all season and deserves to win. And AlphaTauri as well. They've been mega ever since Singapore. We had a 70-point lead and over them, and now they won by marginally like by 10 points or something. About the strategy calls, it was a personal decision. I thought I had the pace to qualify in front, which I did, and then pull away. Obviously, you got the penalty in the middle, and then we had another actual safety car period, which sort of neutralized what kind of advantage I might have had. Then after the safety car, I couldn't really get the tires into working range and struggle for pace. Then on the mediums, I got damaged as soon as I got out of the pits with Rahul in front of me, and we've talked it out. He's apologized, it's fine. And I think after that, anyways, even if I had no damage, I'd have probably emerged 11 seconds in front of contended, and he would have probably overtaken me in the end. So it is what it is. I think double podium is a good result, and we'll be back next season.
Yeah, you guys did absolutely the best you could do today. Some great driving from you. Put the car into P1. Amazing qualifying pace from you. You did look like you had the better pace in qualifiers today, but the tire strategy didn't work out, go through your way. But you guys gave out your absolutely maximum today to mount a tough challenge to the AlphaTauri boys. So, good luck for your future races coming next season. And that's it from our podium interview. So, Thermo, what do you think of our race? Who do you think is the driver of our day for today?
So first of all, congrats to the podium winners once again, and to AlphaTauri for winning the WDC. From my perspective, I think Rahul did well considering the incidents he's had. I'm not sure how much he had a role to play in that, but still, getting a P5 finish, that was pretty good. I didn't catch the Codemasters granted driver of today, but he would have been one of those guys in the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Simply Whitey would have been one of the guys I would have looked forward to if he did not have the crash towards the end. Very heartbreaking. But those two guys were up there. And definitely the podium winners, there's a reason why they are up there. They maintain their pace despite what happened on the track. So definitely big props to all of them.
Yeah,
What
so
about
it
you?
was a really interesting race. For me, yes, I would also stick with Rahul because from back of the grid, he did make his way into P5, give those crucial points that AlphaTauri needed to seal the Constructors' Championship. All in all, a really good race from all of our drivers. Yes, felt really bad for Whitey. He did have really good pace all throughout quali and the race, and missed out on a podium finish by a silly error. But it's all okay. It's all a learning process, and I'm pretty sure he will come back towards the next season in a better shape. So that's all from our side. We're gonna end the season. Thanks, folks.